Hello, Miguel, and thank you for joining us to do this interview.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks to you.
To begin with, I would like to ask you just to give us a little bit of background about yourself.
I studied here in Madrid. I studied audiovisual communication and also cinema directing in the ECAM, the School of Cinema here in Madrid. And since then, I've done like a few short films, and I have worked in several departments of the film industry. I've made almost like everything. Yeah, in the directing department and distribution, press, marketing. I've done lots of things. And it was a long time that I didn't shoot a short film, but I was willing to come back to shooting a short film again.
4 Seasons is really a one-man film. You have done all the roles except maybe a little bit to do with the sound. Is that correct?
Yeah, the crew was basically me, and except for the actors, of course, yeah. But they are amazing.
It's an unusual subject and an unusual way of presenting stories. How did that come about? How did you get the idea, and what sort of challenge did you want to give yourself?
The fact is that this idea came from my previous short film, because this one is kind of a sequel to that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that one that is called Hard to Say with the R in parentheses. I shot it in New York when I was spent 1 month there, and it's like the same style, no dialogue. Like I did it all by myself, like I'm a voyeur point of view. But I like that. I like that the fact that you are kind of spying on someone that is in the street. That you always. I'm very interested. So that the idea of this one came from that one, because I wanted to repeat, like you know, that the films by Richard Linklater, that before sunrise, before sunset, that is like the lives of one couple through the years. So I was talking with the actors of that short film that I would like to do something like that with them. So the origin of this short film is that there are 4 stories in 4 seasons. The last one is like a sequel of it's like what happened to those characters years later. Okay, and then I decided to do like, yeah, more stories to give like the wider view possible about relationships and all around the world, and I don't know, it's every kind of people that, you know, that just saying, it's like very simple. In fact, it's like no matter where you come from, who you are, who you love, we are all the same, you know.
You had already worked with some of the actors, and then you had to find extra actors for the other segments of the film.
Some of them they are professionals and non-professionals. It's a little bit of everything. For example, the ones in New York, they are non-professional. Here in Spain, there's one of the stories, the one that is in winter, that they are professional people that I really wanted to work with them. I knew them from before. And there are other people in the couple of the girls that they are not professional. So it's like a mix, and I like that too. And it was really beautiful to work with all of them. Like the process was so beautiful, so beautiful.
Did you know what characters you were looking for? So were you looking for the faces, or?
I knew that I wanted like the wider spectrum possible of people.
Okay.
Friend, and that's what I knew that I wanted. But in the first place, the first story that I shot was in the one in Chicago, not the one in New York, but the one in Chicago. And I was talking to a friend if he knew some actors or something, and he said, what type of people do you want for the characters? And I said, I don't care. It's the first story that I want to shoot, so I'm open to everything. I just want to talk about people, you know? And it was perfect because it's like a trans girl that is beautiful and this boy that is amazing. So it was like perfect. I didn't ask for that specific type of character, people, of actor, but it was like given to me, my universe, so it's perfect.
Did you have the stories for each segment already in your head, or did it change when you found the actors?
But a little bit of everything. So I have like the structure for each sequence, what like the highlights, what they should be, you know. But I really wanted to give freedom to the actors, and we talk a lot about what could happen, what was going. I don't know. It was like really beautiful. For example, I know that tiny things that. Okay, for example, in the first story, they are in the opposite ways of the train station, but why should he go to talk with her just besides the fact that he wants to, you know? And he said, okay, I can give her this pen.
Right.
And it was weird because that was a pen that it was not from the actor, it was from the girl, but he somehow had that in his hand at the moment. I was, okay, this is a sign. We should do that. It just came out like that. For example, the dog in the last story, that was because one of the actors had a dog, and he said, okay, maybe we could, he could start somehow here. And he said, perfect. So it was a little bit of everything. It was a mix of having like a structure on the highlights and a lot of improvisation.
But every story has a pen now.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted that to give like a continuum to every single one of the stories, like a symbol like of communication and the way they behave with each other depending on the relationship they have.
I felt that the introductory sections with very, very fast, very, very short clips were, and then everything stops while we watch the story. And then it all speeds up again. And to me, it was like a comment on our busy worlds and how time is passing. And then if we don't take these little minutes, these little moments as important, then we miss significant moments in our lives.
It's absolutely, that's what it is. That we live like in a crazy world right now that everything goes so fast. And me the first is why we don't really stop and look around and see what is going on, and seeing how like tiny things are so beautiful and important, and we don't even realize because we are running from one place to another, and we don't have time. We're always thinking about the next thing that we have to do.
It looks as though you must have taken mountains of film to get all those little clips, or do you do a lot of editing in the camera?
No, I have like lots of material. Lots. So that's why I love like the editing award here in your festival, because it was quite a challenge to do that. It was, and besides, I was doing it on my own. Of course, I asked for a lot of advice to every friend that came by. Was like, okay, what do you think about this? It's too fast, too slow. Do you understand that? Like the order, there were like 1,000 ways to edit this. For example, for the story of the girls, the spring one, I had like the first cut of that story. Just that story was like 12 minutes or something like that, because I had lots of material because I spent one whole day with them. And it was really beautiful. As I said, like the process of the filming of this was really beautiful because I just was with them like in the San Isidro, yeah. Well, it was like party here in Madrid with everything very happy and with the kids and just following them around. And it was a whole day, so I had a lot of material. So it was, yeah. I had a lot of everything.
So did all that editing take?
I started editing when I shot the first two stories during the USA, and then it passed like 1 year until I finished because of the seasons and all that. And then then it was like 6 months more, I think. Yeah, because I finished in August and I had it ready in December.
What interests me as well about the shooting of the little stories, well, big stories really in terms of emotion, short stories, is that you have a lot of close-ups, a lot of shots, faces, heads, hands, but the way you have edited it, it's still quite fast cuts, but it doesn't make the audience feel uncomfortable. Sometimes with fast cuts, you feel a little bit like you're dizzy or something. So you must have got the timing of each cut very well designed, I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because it means a lot to me, because it was, yeah, very difficult, I think, to get that sense of, yeah, of like slow pace, but at the same time, everything is like, yeah, the cuts are really, are really small and they're really fast indeed. So it's kind of a weird mix, like achieving that feeling and that sensation with that kind of editing. And that's what I wanted. And I think that, yeah, it's in there. So thank you for saying that. Yeah.
And also in the soundtrack, particularly in the really, really fast introduction sequence, the soundtrack is also chopped up into little sections, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable to watch. It could be really annoying to keep hearing little bits, but you manage to make it feel smooth.
The first part, the introduction, actually, I didn't mind that people could feel a little bit uncomfortable, because that's kind of the feeling of this crazy war.
Okay. Yeah.
But not too much. So it should be like in equilibrium, like very well balanced. And the rest, it was kind of crazy to the sound editing, because I had layers and layers of sounds and things to put and mix, and yeah, and get into like a trouble with the sound too, because it has no dialogues. And the sound editing that way is kind of a dialogue, because it's like an emotional landscape of the characters too. There are ups and downs, and sometimes the volume is up, sometimes the volume is like very low. And it was like, that is not like a documentary style of editing that we tried in a moment with the sound mixer, that he did like this kind of documentary, everything the same. And I said, I don't want this. I want like to be like a travel, like a trip with the emotions of the characters. And it was quite difficult too.
Was of the soundtrack natural sound that you collected when you were filming, or did you put artificial sound as well?
Most of them natural. Yeah. I was doing like kind of wild tracks, and sometimes I was like the one that I recorded too, and with other like ambient sounds that I found. And it was like a mix of kind of everything, but not really artificial.
Was it difficult to film the story sections out in public? Did you get interruptions?
You know, there are some really lovely interruptions, but I was shooting with a little tiny camera, so nobody was really paying attention to me because it didn't look like I was like shooting a short film or fiction. It was like I was shooting like you know, holiday video or something like that. But it was beautiful because some of the actors, for example, that are professional, the one in here in Spain, for example, he has won some prizes here, like important prizes in acting. And he said, it's the first time that I work like this, like so free. And it was really beautiful because they keep like reacting to the things that happened around them. So I really love that, that it gave us a lot. It was kind of difficult in some moments, but most part of it, it was like great. And seeing the actors, you know, reacting to.
Have to keep stopping them and to say, now I want to film your face from around this side.
Most of the shots were like, yeah, they were like continuous, and I was like moving or something, like letting them free. Some of the moments that I thought that were important and I wanted to highlight, it was like, okay, cut, now let's repeat this from this side, and letting them know that. But most of the time it was like, okay, you go ahead, you do whatever you want to do, talk, so having in mind the things that we said before and what you have done before, but they were quite free.
I also interested in the fact that they were obviously talking to each other, and that could also have been annoying for the audience of wanting to hear what they were saying.
First of all, I think that the short film works because of that. Maybe if we could hear what they were saying, we wouldn't be so interested in it. You know, because I really like the audience to be an active audience. You know, like they have to put something from themselves. You know, in the film to understand it. And you know, I think that and it is really nice to see how people see the story. Some people think different stories and have different hypotheses and theories about what is happening and what is going on, and I love that. And the fact that it's shot in the outside in the street is, that's it. It's like you are like, if you were like a spectator, like people close to them but not close enough to hear what they're saying, so you're trying to, so you really want to know what they're saying, but you can just like look at them. As a friend of mine said too, it was, that's the shots, the kind of shot is like what I would like to do when I'm in that situation, but obviously my head can do this and this and this and go so close to to the people. So that is what I really wanted to do when I see people that I feel like interested in them.
Thank you so much to you, and I wish you many successes in the future with your filmmaking.
Thank you, thank you so much. I wish you many successes too with the festival.
Thank you.
I bet it will. And thank you so much for the award and having me here. And it was like beautiful, really beautiful interview and conversation. Thank you so much.